boys and girls. Just wanted to come back on this video just to touch base a little bit, because there was a few things I wanted to mention that I didn't get a chance to because I just was talking about other things and thinking of other things. But there's a lot of things here that they talked about with emotions and not being able to separate emotions with business, and how a lot of us are just filled with all this emotion when we shouldn't be. We should be thinking logically. 80% of black guys are born to mothers out of wedlock, so it's a single parent raised home by the mother. So we're basically emote like our mothers, because we're not around a strong masculine figure to show us the way, really, on how to really be a man. So a lot of us don't really learn how to be men until we're older in life, But let's dive into this a little bit.
Because it was always just one play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was always just one play while I wasn't on my A game.
Why would you not be on? See, right there, he's basically just telling us he's not on his A game all the time, except for a play here and there. And those are the plays that they end up scoring on. So you guys see what I'm talking about? They pick and choose here and there on plays when to not play correctly.
Proof of it was I wasn't playing good enough. I wasn't playing my right technique. I wasn't playing.
Why wouldn't you be playing good enough? Why wouldn't you always be playing your correct technique? Is there any reason at all? If you watching this video, would you be playing the wrong technique if you were on the field for any reason at all? Unless someone told you to, unless you were getting paid off to. I mean, am I missing something?
And how I needed to be playing. So they took advantage of them opportunities. But the team...
They didn't really take advantage. They just knew those opportunities were there because it's fake. It's kayfabe.
The T thing, the T Higgins one, I wasn't tripping off that.
You weren't tripping off of giving up a touchdown fresh off of halftime? Why would you not be mad about that? I'd be fuming if it were real. The only reason you wouldn't be tripping because you know it's fake and you're going to win. That's the only reason you'd be laughing. Any other reason, you should be mad about it.
Should have been OPI, but so I went
penalty or not.
I got to the sideline and I was hot, but then
he just contradicted himself. He just said, "Oh, I was just laughing. Oh, I was laughing about that." But then when I got to the sideline, I was hot. Which one was it? Are you mad or are you laughing or are you hot? Which one? I'm confused now. I don't even know. He just said he was happy and laughing, and now he's saying he's hot and mad. So I don't know which one it is. He just contradicts himself the whole time.
After the drive went by, I started laughing about it, honestly.
See, and then now he's talking. You just said you were hot. Now you're just saying you started laughing about it. This guy is just all full of emotions. Like, you don't want to be like this guy where you're all over the place. You just can't even, say a sentence properly. Like, you can tell that this guy's all emotion, no logic. And it shows on the field, a lot of these plays.
I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, it ain't nothing I can do. Right. I'm like, that's
There's nothing you can do? So he's basically saying there's a script you have to follow. There's nothing you can do. It's out of his power. And he basically shows it.
Crazy. That really happened in the Super Bowl.
See, he's surprised that something like that happened. Like, dude, it happened. You knew it was going to happen. It was part of the script.
Everybody watching. I'm like, that happened in the Super Bowl. I was for real laughing like, yo, that.
Now he's saying he's laughing. He keeps saying he was laughing, and he keeps saying he was hot. He keeps saying he was laughing, and he keeps saying he's mad. He's laughing, and he's mad. Which one is it? Were you mad, or were you happy? Which one? Were you laughing? Was it funny? Were you mad? Like, I don't know.
Super Bowl, like, you guys going on? Well, you guys going on in the Super Bowl? And we talked to Raheem Morris. Oh yeah, we sit down with Raheem, and hopefully that we tore his house.
My thing is, why are none of them calling him on it? Like, I know Ryan Clark is a smart guy. Like, you don't hear the contradiction. You're just gonna let him just keep contradicting himself and not call him on it and say, wait, which one is it? Like, he's a smart guy. Like, so there's a reason why he's not calling him, because he can't. Because it would be too much. Because if you press him on that, then it would all come out. Because Jalen Ramsey, he's a great football player, but he's not that smart. Like, you would be able to back him into a corner and he'd say the wrong thing. Because you can tell he's off script right now because he's just contradicting. It's all over the place.
house up. We ain't gonna tear your house up because
you already tore it up, coach.
Bro, I already spilled a drink on your floor, but I cleaned it up though. That's real wood. I thought that was laminate.
No, that's the real wood.
That's real wood there. Yeah. When I was rubbing my drink, that's not laminate. So
he's always talking gay stuff.
Talking about matchups. Do you ever say you want to travel? Do you ever tell Raheem Morris or whoever your DC is, like, put me wherever their best receiver is because people gonna run from you?
Mm-hmm. So actually, it goes a little bit different. So that's how the year starts. Well, I'll take it back. The year started off like, hey, Rob, I want to play star. Don't put me out there at corner unless we in base. By the way, I just want to put...
Okay, so that's a contradiction. He just asked you if you travel and cover the best guy, then you just said yes. And then now you're saying, no, don't put me in star unless we're in base. I don't want to play corner. So, like, that's basically contradicting himself. So, like, right now, I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Put this out there. I met a young Jalen Ramsey at ESPN, right? We doing the whole draft thing, right? We talking. So, you know, RC, I'm about to drop knowledge, right? I say, look, man.
About to school him.
I'm about to school him, you know what I'm saying? I watched all the film. I say, young Jalen, you know. First off, I'm looking up talking to him because I'm not very big.
Fucking biggest thing.
He's your size.
This motherfucker's huge.
So I'm saying, I was like, hey, man, listen. If they want to put you inside and then you play the star and you play a little safety, whatever, like, you're going to be a Hall of Famer, man, on trip. Straight up tells me, no, I'm a corner. I was like, I know that. I said, but what I'm saying is, if you do all this other stuff, you can be one of the best to ever do it. Like, you need to be around the football. So I'm happy that once you got out of Jacksonville, you finally got to a place where you can be around the rock.
Yeah.
You know
that's exactly what happened. Actually, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Getting out of Jacksonville.
Before you go there, just go back to 2016, coming into the league. The 5th pick in 2016, Jacksonville. What was your the memories of your draft day and being selected that high? What did that feel like?
Top 5, you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to really be living life, honestly.
And, like, right there, I don't like how he says, what did that feel like? Who gives a shit what it felt like? What did you think about it? Like, who gives a damn about feelings? Feelings change every second. Like, tell me what you thought about it so that we can get in your mind. I don't want to hear about some feeling that can change from a minute to a second based on anything. Really? Like, come on now.
Right, but I'm hot.
You're hot? So, see, like, that's just ungrateful. And, like, this generation is just crazy. Like, how can you be hot? You should be so thankful and grateful that a team is drafting you a top 5 overall. Like, it makes no sense to me. The audacity, the entitlement. Like, how could you be hot? It's not like it's up to you. It's up to the teams who they want to pick. You should just be grateful wherever you go. That's crazy to me.
And I'm hot because... Well, 2 things. It's like a whole sequence of events that led up to this moment, right? So, if you remember the Tennessee Titans, they had the number 1 pick that year, and they had traded that pick to the Rams because the Rams offered them, you know, a couple first rounders, whatever. They was moving to LA. They wanted Jerry Carr. They wanted a quarterback. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm finna go number 1 for real. Like I'm like that. Man, I took a visit to Tennessee, but this was before they had traded the pick.
So you was going to be home?
I was going to be home. Right. Like, yo, I remember when I took my visit, we went out to...
Right there, the entitlement on that. Like, you're just so entitled that you think as a cornerback, you're going to be selected number 1 overall and you're going to be home. Like, that's just crazy to even think that can happen. Like, that's like a 0.00001% chance of happening.
To eat, and we was in a restaurant, like 3-4 people came up to me, like from the crib, like, man, we hope they draft you number 1. You come back to the crib. I'm like, man, they gotta set me up good.
You started saying, I'm gonna go number 1.
Yeah, I'm like, man, the crib set me up good. So then, boom, they traded the pick to the Rams.
He just said they gotta set me up good, and then he said the crib set me up good. So did they, or were they going to? I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, and I'm like, I ain't going there. They don't need me. I'm like, I ain't going 2. They don't need me.
Right.
So honestly, my mind was set on 3, 4. So
his mind. He said his mind was set on 1. Now it's set on 3 or 4. Or I mean, yeah, because he said 2 and 3 is gone. So it's 4 or 5 would be his next option. So how would you say your mind is set on that? Like, I don't understand this guy. He contradicts himself in every way.
That's my motivation. I want to be the first defensive player taken off the board.
First, you said your motivation is to be drafted number one. Now your motivation is to be the first defensive player drafted. Which one is it? He's all over the place. Like, literally. I know he's young, but he's literally all over the place with everything.
So, the Chargers, they wanted me to play safety, though. And even though I didn't really want to play safety, I just wanted to be the first defensive player off the board. Right?
Okay, now see, like, that's crazy. Like, that is just selfish. That's feelings-based. That's making decisions out of fear, scarcity, and lack. That always results in something bad. Like, I'll play safety just to be drafted first. Like, what? No. Play your position and wait till you're picked. And that's it. It's you're worrying about things that are out of your control. Like, putting all this energy, all this emotion in something you cannot control at all. That's so unhealthy. Like, it's just, like, you should never be doing that.
That's where I wanted to initially go. Just because of that simple fact. Because at the time, I was like...
Just for that simple fact. As if that simple fact is so simple. Like, come on.
Miles, the report came out that Miles Jack's knee was hurt because he was in that conversation too. It was like Miles Jack, Jalen Smith, Joey Bosa, and myself were like in that conversation. Who's going to be the first defensive player taken off the board?
Between us, we all know he is not the best player out of those guys. We already know who the best is. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to get people mad, but he is not the best defensive player out of those guys he just named.
And I just wanted to be, that was really the only reason. But if it didn't happen, I'm like, I always grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan, really, like Titans and Cowboys. Right. So if I go forward, that's like for real dream come true. And I remember when I was at...
He just said number one is a dream come true. So now 3 spots back, now that's a dream come true. Why don't you just say number one is my dream come true, but if 4 came, I'd be happy. He keeps trumping what he says. Like, it's just major contradiction.
When I was on my visit to Dallas, they told me, like straight up to my face, like, if you there at 4, we take you.
Every team that you meet is going to say that to you. If you're there at this pick, we're going to take you. Obviously, they have to say that to you. Oh, if you're there at 4, we're not going to take you. Like, what? Of course they're going to say that to you.
I was like, we don't think you're going to be there at 4. They said, we think they're going to get you at 3. But if you're there at 4, if you're on that board...
And they have to say that, too, to juice him up and make him think that he's going to be taken and to make him think that he's high on their board, and because they know how to handle these guys. They're young, emotional black guys from the hood raised by their single moms. They know exactly how to handle these guys. It's all emotion based. You just get at their emotions and they will crumble, basically. They'll falter to whatever command you have. That's all it is.
We take him. And I thought where it was Bond, I'm like, I'm gone then. If I'm there at 4, I'm there. That's the thing, I was going to be there at 5 because I remember sitting in the GM office in my Jacksonville visit. And he said, you think, he asked me, he said, you think you're going to be there at 5? I said, no.
All right, see, that's a shit test. Like, why would a GM ask him if he thinks he's going to be there at 5? As if it's up to him. That's a shit test. The GM just wants to see how cocky he is and where his head's at. That's all that was.
Nah, respect.
And the GMs, they all communicate with each other. They know who's drafting who when. That's why they trade up and make deals behind the gates.
Basically, no, I don't think I'm going to be right. Right. He said, me either. He said, it's tough to...
See? There was a shit test, and then he basically just to see where his head's at, and that's what happened.
Trade up. But we may try. Right.
And that's what happened with that test. He didn't pass the test, because if he passed it and said, yeah, I might be there, they probably would have traded up, but they probably didn't want his cockiness. That's all it was. You got to understand, a lot of these GMs, they ask you specific, intentional questions to see how you will respond. And they'll do it nonchalantly to make you just not be in interview mode, so you won't be giving a politically correct answer. They want to get the real, raw you. So they're going to ask you some stuff that will make you think that you're not still under a microscope. You know what I mean? So he basically just pushed himself out of that Dallas job. I already know it. I know how these guys work.
I was like, all right.
So you knew you weren't falling past Jacksonville, though?
Nah, no chance.
Right.
No chance. But
And
if
see,
it came down,
how would you know that? There's no way you would possibly know that at all unless they called you and drafted you at that moment. Because none of those players really know. Only the GMs know. Those players don't actually know until that moment they're called.
down to it, I was hoping that I thought of 6.
He said, yeah, definitely. And then now he's saying, I'm hoping. Like, he just contradicts everything.
And, they got the defensive mindset. So it was like, But no, I knew I wasn't going. I really didn't think I was gonna fall past 4. After the Cowboys told me that, I'm like, man, 4 for sure. Like, So then, man, we get to the draft. I know I ain't going 1 and 2. Them the quarterbacks. So 3 happened. I'm like, I'm feeling away. Really, I'm like I should have really been the first defensive player taken off the board. But it's cool, whatever. So then I'm
Bosa
like,
a dog now.
a dog.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
My team.
And Bosa is better than him, bro. Like, he's better. Bosa has more of an impact. Bosa is just a better player.
Right here, me and my moms and pops and my fam. And Zeke table was right next to ours. So all the cameras was on me and Zeke. I remember like whole bunch, about 20 cameras. About 10 on me, 10 on Zeke. We sitting there. And my moms knew that's where I wanted to go. And that's who I was sitting by. We was like whispering to each other. And then in an instant, the 10 cameras that was at my table, they all went. They went to Zeke table. And me and my mom looked at each other, and she gave me like a little frown or something, and I had just like did one of these, and I was like, don't make no emotions or nothing.
See, like right there, why did your mom have to tell you, oh, don't make no emotions at all? You're the one that's supposed to be telling her that. Like, that's crazy that you can't keep your composure on national TV. Like, your mom still has to tell you at age 20 through 23 how to act. Like, that I thought was kind of crazy. And good for the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys, they drafted Zeke, who ended up being a child himself. He not act like an adult. But they got a good 3 years out of him. But I guess they would have been better off getting Jalen Ramsey because of the way Zeke has turned out now. Unless he turns it around. But I just don't see it happening because he's been taking a beating. Running backs get worse as they age, usually. So we'll see how that goes.
Camera's going to be on. Right. And she said something like, wow, like that's crazy or something. Or something like that. And I was like, yeah.
So she tells you not to show emotion as she shows emotion. Okay.
No, whatever. And then as soon as they announced his pick, my phone started ringing 904. And I knew, like immediately, like right when they announced him, my phone started ringing 904. It was Jacksonville. So that's why I was mad. I was mad because...
why would you be mad? Like, you got drafted 5th overall in the NFL draft. Like, you shouldn't... That's just so, like... I don't know. That makes me feel a certain way. Like, you shouldn't be mad about that. I can understand you were maybe disappointed, but you shouldn't be mad. That's not the right word you should use. Because there's plenty of people that would love to be in your position. I would take that and not complain one bit.
And go 3 or 4. Not because of Jacksonville in particular.
Right. Correct.
Because I had built that extra little motivation in my mind that was going to challenge me.
So were you excited to be still in the state of Florida, not too far away from Tallahassee?
Now once it like settled in, like that night, I ain't gonna lie, that night I ain't go out, ain't do nothing, because I was really mad. I was real deal mad. That's how I do. Like immediately the motivation started in my mind.
You were real deal mad. So that just shows you he doesn't have any composure. He doesn't have that little smoothness to him where you just, everything's cool, everything's going to be all right. So that's chaotic. And now I see why his baby mama didn't want to really be with him, because he's just too emotional. Women don't want to be around emotional ass men. It's just too much. Because the women are the emotional ones. Right? Now you're coming in with all this emotion, wearing your heart on your sleeve. It's just like, can't be managed. You're supposed to manage your lady's emotion, not the other way around. Emotions.
Like that night, like man, we ain't partying, we ain't doing none of that. We let's get to business. In the morning, we're gonna get on this flight 6 a.m. We in Jacksonville, whatever.
See, I think right now you're painting a picture for every young player, or anyone actually, that when they see Jalen Ramsey You know, they see how, you know, you talk trash, you know, you're competitive, and you wear your heart right here on the outside of your shirt, right?
Yeah, and definitely I would not tell anyone to be anything like Jalen Ramsey. I wouldn't even copy his play style, honestly. Like, he's a good athlete. I mean, he's done some good things, but I would not emulate anything he does. He's too emotional. He's too much of a hothead. He gambles too much. It's just, he's an okay player. Like, I'll give him that, but I would not be like, oh, I want to be just like Jalen Ramsey. That's just not something you would want to strive to be like. Maybe be like the player, but don't be like the person. Like, 'cause there's a lot of cracks that we're seeing just in this interview alone.
You know, I think now what you're saying in this entire interview is that you're so extremely hard on yourself. You take nothing.
That's what he got out of this whole interview. He's sugarcoating, because that's not what I got out of this interview. What I've gotten out of this interview is that he's overly emotional and just needs to rein it in a lot. That's what I feel like. I feel like he needs a strong masculine person in his life to show him how to really be a man, because he doesn't know what he's doing right now, clearly.
For granted. So I think now you're allowing them to get closer to you so they can paint the picture, or you paint the picture for them to really just hey, look, I'm going to be the best ever. You know?
Man, honestly, I'm hard on myself like that. Sometimes, like, my friends and family tell me not to be, like, relax on myself or whatever. But I'm hard on
if your friends and family are telling you to relax, that should be telling you something right there. You know what I mean? That should tell you something.
myself like that, honestly, because I ain't gonna lie, like, God done for real blessed me, for real.
That's true.
Like, he done took his time on me, like, really blessed me, like, gave me all the gifts that I can even imagine. Right. So I'm like, if I don't do my part, like, to the fullest that I can do it, I'm talking about work hard,
right?
Like, give it everything I got, I feel like I'm cheating.
So then I guess that means you cheated him during the Super Bowl, right? Because you didn't always work hard and always play your technique and always do what you're supposed to do. So I guess we can say you cheated God, right?
I feel like I'm letting him down. Like, I'm cheating him. If I don't develop,
I guess you let him down, buddy boy.
all the gifts he done given me into like elite skills and be one of the best, I'm cheating.
Is this something that me and Freddie talked about?
You're cheating when you're in your shuffle run technique and then you turn inside for no reason and let your guy beat you. That's cheating.
We knew we was gonna get you on, where you saw Jacksonville and you saw the bigger picture of what's going on. Fred stayed there for what, 11 years? 11 years and wasted his damn career away, losing. And you saw what was going on, and your ass said, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
This is the thing I was trying to tell him.
Yeah.
Right? You know, everyone makes the decision what they feel is best for them, right? Yeah. I feel like I didn't have the leverage.
See, and that's the problem. He was going into it with his feels instead of what his reels were. Feels over reels gets you in trouble. He made a decision out of fear, scarcity, and lack, and he signed with Jacksonville, and now you heard what he said. He's losing. He didn't even make the money he was supposed to. He got hurt. A bunch of things went wrong, and that's what happens when you make decisions out of fear, scarcity, and lack. You should never make decisions based on those three things. Well, that's what happens. You end up in Jacksonville.
You know, and in different times in my career, to leave because of certain injuries I had. Mm-hmm.
See?
Like I told RC, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush in terms of dollars. I never wanted to test free agency.
Don't go by that saying. That's a scarcity and lack saying right there. That's something that someone would say when they really just don't have it and they're just trying to just get it. Like, just, you don't want to be like that, because it's always gonna end up bad for you.
An opportunity to get a second deal, I jumped at it because I come from nothing. I said, I got to make sure my people good. Yeah. And I'm not going to risk.
He made the decision out of scarcity and lack and fear, all of it.
You know, playing this last year and not having guarantees in place.
Fear, scarcity, and lack.
Chase free agency. So I stayed in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, at the end of the day, for me, this is just for me. I can't speak on Jay.
Yeah. Jay hit it, bro. Jay hit it.
Nah, he did what was
right.
right.
Him kiss his ass. He wants to
Damn,
go
Jackie
somewhere.
Robinson.
Hey,
Because for that one situation, Jalen didn't make his decision out of fear, scarcity, and lack. That's why his situation in that case is better than Fred's, because Fred made his decision out of those three things. Jalen just said, screw this, I'm gone, and left and went on to another team. That's what you're supposed to do, and then it ends up better for you. Because if you're doing it out of fear and scarcity, you're just going to grab any deal, and it's going to be a bad deal.
Like, no, I ain't gonna sit here and let y'all bastards. Yeah,
A great decision. And for me, I think my decision was great. In hindsight, I'm in the Ring of Honor. That you can never, as long as the Jaguars exist, my name's gonna forever be in the Jaguars Hall of Fame and Ring of Honor.
You better hope they don't relocate and take that franchise down with their losing ways. You better hope so, Fred, with that fear and scarcity lack move you made, because your name might get ripped off that wall.
And it's synonymous to, whether it depends on who's saying it, I'm the greatest player in that franchise history.
And that's really not saying much, because that that team, that franchise really has not had many good players to speak of. So, I mean, yeah, he's a top 5 player for sure, probably the best player, but that's not saying much at all. And basically everyone that played on his team, they're all probably runners-up for that number 1 spot. And that shows you how bad that they've been.
You and Tony
was a great decision,
isn't it?
And yeah,
You and
hands
Tony
down.
Vaselli.
And then Jimmy Smith too.
Right, so
But that was his decision.
All those guys played together.
What's going on in Jacksonville? I'm like, how do we let him go? You know what I'm saying?
But
I'm trying to figure it out.
You
Has to be a story to
forced that. What happened in Jackson?
They let him go because he had to. He made his decision because he wanted to. It wasn't out of fear, scarcity, and lack. That's why. He doesn't understand. That's why Fred just doesn't understand, because he has that type of thinking. So it just doesn't process for him.
Jacksonville, you had a lot of stuff going on. You fight with coaches, like it's all out there, bro. What happened in Jacksonville?
Coaches, GMs, everybody.
You were fighting with that. What happened in Jacksonville?
That's one of the first places that I've ever been in that I don't feel valued. For real. It was weird and it was...
I don't like how he said feel valued. You just got to say think valued, because that means you did your research and you crunched up numbers together and you saw your value. It's not based on a chemical imbalance on the inside making you think that way. You know what I mean? Like, you actually did research. So, like, when people are talking about, oh, I feel this, feel that, don't even pay them any mind. Only pay them mind if they say, I think. Because that's what you want people to do. You want people to be thinking.
Frustrating, and it got to a point where, like, it just started piling up. And we wasn't winning, and they didn't want to pay me early. So all of that put together was like, man, so what am I here for? Like, what am I here?
See, like, right there, that decision wasn't out of fear, scarcity, and lack, because he wasn't at the brink of the edge of his contract where, oh my God, I got to make a decision. He basically wanted out. He was like, I want out. Where Fred was like, we're losing and I don't care. I want to stay. I just want the money. I need it. Please sign me. It's two different situations. You can't even compare it.
Wasting my time for.
And you had them conversations with them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I ain't scared of no smoke, no confrontation. We gonna have,
See,
man, to grow you need confrontation sometimes.
That's not true. See, like, right there, that's where him being too emotional comes in. You have to be able to separate the business from the emotion. It's all business at that point. You can't bring your emotions into it, because then when you do that, you lose. Because business has nothing to do with emotion, and that's what these players don't understand. But these owners and these GMs, they understand this. That's why they are there forever. They understand how money works. Money has no feelings.
Relationships, I really do value relationships. So I think to grow relationships, sometimes you gotta have them type of conversations. And
that's not true. You don't need to argue with people to have a relationship. You just need to have an understanding and communication, open communication.
Go through something with people. That's what happened. Really, the one person I never really got to have a relationship with at all was Tom Coughlin.
You don't really want to have a relationship with your general manager. General managers usually don't have relationships with the coaches. Their job is to get the players on the team, and that's it. They don't have the obligation to be your pal. That's not his job. That's your boss. Like, what the hell are you talking about here? A relationship. If he doesn't want a relationship with you, your ass needs to be on that field and doing your job. That's it. What is he talking about here? This is where his feelings and all this softness comes in. Like, our generation is just so soft.
And at the time, he ran all that at Jacksonville. He ran all that. I'm talking about everything, every part of everything. He ran all that.
So why the hell would you think that he would have a relationship with little old you if he has to run the entire organization? You know how bad that would look for him? Like, he's picking favorites and, you know what I mean? He's always conducted himself that way. Why would he switch up now just because you show up? That would just look weird too. You know, like Jalen just thinks he's something so special that he's not. Like, you're a good player. I'm not gonna say great yet, but you're a good player. You're a nice player, but you're not special. You're still human. Like, he thinks he's like above human being level.
Other than that, I had good relationships with my coaches. Like, even Doug, like, people saw the scuffle with me and Doug the Houston game before I requested the trade, but me and Doug cool. Like,
Scuffling
Doug
with your
and my
coaches.
oldest daughter got the same birthday. I promise you, every year Doug texts me on her birthday. Be like, tell your daughter I say happy birthday. I'd be like, man, appreciate the same to you, whatever.
I doubt he texts them every year, but okay, we'll give you that one. We have no way of confirming that, but come on.
Whatever. Like, my DB coaches, talk to all of them.
Stop.
Every DB coach I've ever had in the league, ever had at Jacksonville, talk to all of them.
Stop.
The last one, Coach Walt, he at Ohio State now. He just called me 2 days ago.
Stop
Like,
it.
I talked to all of them.
Look at him blinking like
defensive
he
coaches,
just did the
I love
lying
what all
tell
the
where he
coaches
did
It
the.
was really just Tom
See how
Coughlin.
he blinks like so many times after he says that? He completely just lied to the camera.
And then
What was it about Tom Coughlin that
he didn't care to try to have no relationship. It was just, it was just,
That's the game.
it was my way or the highway.
Yeah,
Like,
TC,
And that's when you know you have a good GM, when he's not trying to have a relationship with you. He's too busy building a team to be your friend. That's what you don't understand. Like, he's building your football team. You rather him be your friend or you rather him be your boss and get the job done correctly? Which one? Because you can't have it all.
TC was my coach for 5 years.
yeah,
Were you RB1 and you were CB1?
Yeah, 100%.
but
That's how football is, though, fellas.
But man, relationships matter.
Yeah.
And the players matter. The people matter. So if you make a player, especially your top players, feel like they ain't nothing, like, that's not.
See, it's like that's that emotion shit. It's not about feelings. It's not about anything. They paid you already. You signed a contract. Shut up and go do your job. Or don't and just get off the field. But your obligation was in that contract. You signed that contract. You knew what it was. You're playing football. You're not playing pansy ball. You're playing football. You signed, you play. And that's it. Like, what is this, like, brothers in arms? Oh, you be my friend. Like, no, just go play. Like, why do they have to be your friend? That's not what this is about. It's about winning.
Gonna go well for you at all. And that's how the vibe was around there. Just like, man, we can get another Jalen. So it got to a point where I was like, prove it then. If that's how y'all feel about
They can get another Jalen. And I'm sorry to break to you, Jalen, the Rams would have beat the Bengals without you, honestly. They probably would have done better without you, to be honest. That's just being honest.
I mean, if y'all don't value me like that, if that's how y'all feel about me, it's coming from the top. So then it's starting to trickle down. Now me and the GM got beef because now the GM don't want to have conversations. Me and him had always talked, been able to have conversations, or whatever, and then all of a sudden now we don't even get to have conversations. Like,
I'm going to say that's on him because everywhere he's been, there's always been some tiff here or another. So I'm going to say it's on him. Just like Earl Thomas, who I'm going to do a video on, he should be playing in this league, but because of his piss-poor attitude, nobody wants to be around him. He doesn't play well with others. Like, Jalen normally doesn't play well with others, but he's still young and good enough where that people would put up with his crap.
see me in the hallway and say hi to me, and then 30 minutes later he'll call my agent.
Why do you care about that? Like, why are you so emotional about that? Who cares? Just shrug that off and move on and keep it moving.
And say something about me, and my agent will call me, and I'll be like, I just saw him in the hallway. He said hey to me, like, but now we don't even talk. We don't even want to. All right. So if y'all don't value me, and then it got to it literally just kept trickling.
So are you saying you left Jacksonville because Tom Coughlin didn't want to say hi to you? Now you guys see how emotional he is. You guys think I'm crazy, but he's really emotional, and it's just like a lot of the things that he's saying and doing, I would have not said and done. I would have just dealt with, because it's really not that big a deal. These things he's making a big deal about, micromanaging, like it's really not.
Down, like it got to the point where it just kept getting worse. It got to the point where like we going into meetings and stuff, and they talking about like, you know, I always had the hardest matchups or whatever it may have been. I guard D Hop 2 times a year. We talking about D Hop. Yeah, I got the hardest matchups. I'm going against the #1 receiver.
That's what they drafted you for. That's what they told you were gonna do, and that's what you said you wanted to do. So you accepted the challenge. You don't get a trophy for that. If you told them, nah, I don't want to do that, they wouldn't have drafted you. But you told them you were down to do the job that they needed you to do. So that's what you were called to do. So you don't get trophies for that. I don't understand why he's saying that. Like, congratulations, you did your job.
Talking like say I'm guarding AB, whatever, right? Yeah, we know AB gonna make some plays. We're gonna try to limit him a little bit with Jalen.
Because AB makes plays no matter who's on him, and he did bust you. Like, he did make plays on you. Like, why are you so emotional about these words being said to you?
What are you talking about? I've never heard none of my...
Like, he's got rabbit ears. Like, why does something so small like that get to you? Like, jeez.
We know he gonna make plays. How about, like, no, we know they got AB. He a dog. We know that for sure, but we like our matchup.
Right.
Why don't you just say that to yourself? He's one of those players that have been coddled his whole life. Oh, you're so great, Jalen. Jalen, you're so good. You're so awesome. So the moment that one person says one negative thing or doesn't kiss his ass, he says something like this. Like, all right, just a few more minutes of this, guys.
Like, we're gonna put Jalen on him, and it's done. Like, it ain't no conversation need to be had. You don't need no help. You don't need none of that. Like, that's how we talk with the Rams.
Did it change though?
So then say that to yourself and then do what you need to do. And maybe if you did play like that, maybe if you were like that, maybe they wouldn't be saying that. If you were making every play that you were supposed to, maybe they would say that. So maybe that shows you that you weren't making all the plays that you said you were.
Was it once like that though? Like at one point, was it?
It was never like
they
that.
had was at one point though they had AB and they felt like, okay, we got Jalen. Like when y'all on y'all run to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, it was still never like that.
Really?
Never like that. But the one thing that that made it a little bit better is we was winning.
Right. How bad was your back? How bad was the back injury that kept you out in Jacksonville before you got traded?
Man, just now really recovering.
But you're saying that AB wouldn't have been any trouble for you. The quick twitching, best route running Antonio Brown wouldn't be any trouble for your bad back, right? So that's what we're going to say. You're just going to talk up this narrative like you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay.
So you were cornerback 1 with a back injury in the Super Bowl run?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just putting it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. How are you talking like this when you're just saying just now your back is feeling okay? See, and I told you guys, he wasn't looking right. He wasn't playing right. Now we're hearing about this back injury.
Putting the puzzle together.
No, in the Super Bowl, man, this year I sprained both my AC joints. Crazy. Both of them. So
It sure looked like it.
played half the year, probably 10 games with 2 AC joints sprained. Both of them gone. I'm talking about on Mondays, I usually be like...
Shannon.
And walking up on the one.
Hey, Shannon, here's the thing, Shannon. You missed what I was asking him, though. If you don't remember, when everything went on in Jacksonville, when Jalen was asking to be traded, he couldn't play because his back was hurt.
It was.
He had a terrible, terrible back injury. And it was so crazy. I don't know if it was the humidity in Florida that was continuing to keep his back hurting.
Spasms.
Spasms. But all of a sudden, when he got to the dry air and the smog of Los Angeles, his back was no longer hurting.
Stop it. All right, I'm going to stop there. I highly doubt that really is the reason why his back stopped hurting. I have back problems myself, and that would not be the reason. Because of those climates are not yeah, LA's a little bit drier, but it's still very hot weather. And yeah, Jacksonville, you could have some humidity, but come on now. Like, that's reaching. That is reaching. What do you think?